I agreed to let him choose our baby's godmother 2 weeks after I pushed an actual human being out of my body. And honestly, that might have been the dumbest thing I've ever done with a cracked nipple and a sleep deficit. We were sitting in the kitchen, eating cold takeout from the counter because I couldn't find the energy to move the high chair box out of the dining room. Our son was asleep in the bassinet, finally. I hadn't showered in days. Owen looked like he had, which already irritated me. "You know who I've been thinking about lately," he said, sipping the last of my La Croix like it was his postpartum treat. I didn't even look up. If it's not someone holding a casserole, I don't care. "Hannah," he said. That got my attention. I turned, "Hannah, from college." He nodded. "Yeah, she's been through a lot this year. Lost the baby last fall, remember? I thought maybe, if you're okay with it, we could ask her to be the godmother." My brain short-circuited. I blinked at him like he'd just asked if we could name our kid Voldemort. "I barely know her." "She's good, people," he said quickly, too quickly. "And it might mean a lot to her, healing-wise." Healing-wise? Right. This is the same girl who once set off a fire alarm in our dorms by microwaving a fork, drunk on Fireball and daddy issues. But now she was a grief-stricken, spiritual option for our son's eternal soul guide. I was too tired to fight. Too stitched and sore and swollen, in all the ways that don't show up in hospital discharge papers. So I nodded. "Fine, but she plans nothing. I'm not doing some moonlit goddess-themed baptism." He laughed. I didn't. She showed up at our door the next afternoon. Like she didn't even wait to be invited. Just knocked, holding a hydrangea bouquet and a box from Baby Gap. "I had to meet him," she squealed, brushing past me like I was the babysitter. "Oh my God, he has your ears, Owen." "No, girl, he has his own ears. They came with the rest of him." She smelled like vanilla bean and passive aggression. Wore a cream knit sweater that clung in all the right places for someone who allegedly lost a pregnancy less than a year ago. Her makeup was flawless. Mine was non-existent. My nursing bra was visible through my shirt. She complimented it. We sat awkwardly on the couch, while she held my son like she'd been rehearsing it. "He feels so, meant to be," she said, eyes wet. "It's been so long since I held one." I looked at Owen, he looked at her. And I felt something shift in my gut. Not jealousy. Not even suspicion. Something older. Primal. Like my body knew something my brain hadn't caught up to yet. We took a photo, she insisted. Posted it within the hour. Some angels wear diapers. Godmother blessing. "Excuse me. Who said you got the job?" When I brought it up to Owen, he shrugged. "She's excited, let her have this." Right, because what's one more thing I didn't get to have? Like a full night's sleep or a glass of wine that didn't come with side-eye. The next week, she texted me 3 times. First, can I take him shopping? Just me and him. I found the cutest organic teether. Second, is it okay if I post a reel from today's cuddle sesh? Promise I'll tag you. Third, BTW, what's your birth story? I'd love to know how it felt becoming a mom. Becoming. As if I hadn't just been cracked open, body and soul. As if she hadn't just skipped the entire part where she was supposed to ask permission to be in my life. I ignored her for a few days. Then Owen came home with a framed photo, her gift. It was of her and my son. Hannah kissing his forehead. Captioned in cursive beneath the frame, "My forever boy." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because if I didn't laugh, I'd scream so loud the HOA would fine us. "I'm throwing it out," I told him. He hesitated. "Can you? Not, that probably cost her a lot." And suddenly, I was the crazy one. The hysterical wife, the insecure mother, the overreacting, new mom who couldn't share a little godmother glory with the poor girl who lost so much. So I left it on the shelf. Right next to the baby monitor. Next to the bottle warmer. Next to my last nerve. Because here's the thing, and listen closely. It's never just about the photo, or the text, or the framed lie she hung on your mantle like it belonged. It's about the story he tells you, and the one he's living with her. I knew something was off the second she folded my son's laundry without asking. Not even folded, refolded. I had stacked it in the nursery, a little wonky, sure, but it was my wonk, my chaotic mom system. She took it all out, made neat little piles, color-coded, and said, I just couldn't help myself, it was driving me nuts. She giggled like we were best friends on a sleepover, not like she was slowly turning my child's room into her Pinterest nursery. Owen laughed, well, at least someone's organized. That's when I started keeping score. Every interaction with her came with this invisible highlighter that screamed wrong, but no one else seemed to hear it. She would pop in just to bring diapers with lavender scent, even though I said no fragrances. She'd drop off a little something she found at the farmer's market, a onesie embroidered with Godmommy's little man. She even brought over lactation cookies. For me. I remember how hard that was, she said softly. Well, before. Before what exactly? I kept biting my tongue until it bled. Then came the photo shoot. She texted me a Canva flyer, like it was a corporate event. Bonding through baptism, an intimate mother and godmother lifestyle shoot. Time, 11 a.m. Dress code, soft neutrals. Location, Fox Hill Gardens. Photographer at Earthlight. Vision, healing-based photography, shoots only during golden hours. I stared at my phone for 5 full minutes. She wants a branding session with our newborn, I muttered aloud. Owen was in the kitchen blending kale into a smoothie like we were on a wellness retreat and not surviving sleep in 90-minute intervals. She's paying for it, he said. It'll be cute, what's the harm? The harm is, I stopped. Because I didn't know how to explain it anymore. It was like she had slipped into our lives like fog. No crash, no door slam, just this slow, invasive crawl that made everything sticky and hard to breathe. I said yes. Again. Because saying no would have made me the problem. So I stood in a field 2 Sundays later, dressed in a cream maxi dress I ordered off Etsy at midnight with one hand while nursing with the other, and watched this woman swaddle my son like she was auditioning for the role of Holy Mother in a Netflix period piece. The photographer cooed. Hannah laughed softly. I stood there like the unpaid extra in a movie about my own life. She wore white lace, tight, flowing hair, no bra. At one point, she asked for a solo shot with her boys. She met my son. And Owen. I stepped away for a second to grab a burp cloth from the stroller, and when I turned back, she had her arms around both of them. Her face pressed to Owen's shoulder, our son on her hip, her eyes closed like she was home. Click. I walked over, slowly, smiling but with my jaw locked so tight I felt it in my temples. Let's get one of just us girls, I said sweetly, plucking my baby out of her arms with just enough force to make a statement. Oh, of course, she said, stepping back, brushing her curls like I was the babysitter stealing screen time. The photographer snapped a few shots. I didn't smile. I couldn't. That night I asked Owen flat out, is there something going on? He looked up from his laptop. What, no? With Hannah. He laughed. Which is the worst thing someone can do when you ask a serious question. He didn't even fake offense. Just closed the lid and walked over. She's just being Hannah. She's intense. Always has been, but she's harmless. And is she? She lost a child, he said sharply. You could be a little more compassionate. I stared at him. She kisses our son on the mouth. She's grieving. She calls herself his second mama. She's dramatic, you know that. She acts like she's in a relationship with you. That shut him up. For a second. Then he said the line that still echoes in my skull. You're overreacting, you're not yourself lately. And there it was. The ultimate weapon. Gaslight wrapped in care. It wasn't him, it was me. I was postpartum, Hormonal, fragile, seeing shadows where there were none, misreading closeness for threat, emotionally unstable, paranoid. I didn't argue. I just nodded. Took our baby upstairs. Sat in the rocker in the dark, holding him against my chest while he snored gently into my collarbone. And I cried. Not because I thought he was cheating, but because I wasn't sure he was. Because somehow, she had infiltrated our family so deeply that I couldn't even tell where my instincts ended and her performance began. 2 days later, it all cracked open. And it started with her leaving her phone in my car. I didn't plan to see it. That's the part that stings most, I think. Because I wasn't snooping. I wasn't digging. I wasn't the crazy wife hovering over a phone at 3 a.m. in a robe with wine teeth and shaky hands. No, I was just trying to return something that wasn't mine. It was after another bonding day. That's what she called it. Bonding, as if we were war veterans and not two women thrown together by the worst decision a man could make. She had invited me out for matcha lattes and self-care time. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I agreed to spend a day with her, I'd figure out what the hell she wanted. Maybe she just wanted a friend, a sisterhood, a story to heal her own grief through my baby's milestones. I was wrong. The entire time, she talked about pregnancy like she'd invented it. I missed the way my body felt, like I had a secret, she sighed, twirling her straw. You know that feeling, right? Like you're carrying a little piece of the universe. I nodded slowly, sure. She sipped dramatically. The baby I lost, it was going to be a girl, I just knew it. Did you ever see the ultrasound? I asked casually, too casually. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It all happened so fast, I deleted everything, too painful. Lie. We drove home in silence. She left her phone in the passenger seat. I noticed it when I reached to grab a burp cloth wedged between the car seats. It buzzed. I picked it up to check if she was calling it from her number. Figured I'd call her back, say, "Hey, you left your tiny window to hell in my car," and drop it off. Instead, I tapped the screen. No passcode. Just a wide-open, neon-bright screen showing her camera roll. And that's when I saw it. The thumbnail was small, but unmistakable. A black and white sonogram. I tapped it, and everything else fell away. There it was, the date, just 2 weeks ago. The fetus, clear, tiny hands curled near its head. The label on the top of the image. Patient Hannah Keller. Partner Owen Landry. OBGYN, Shoreline Women's Health. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The baby was marked as female, estimated due date, mid-May. A spring baby. Conceived, most likely, just a few weeks after I had given birth to my son. I sat in that car for 20 full minutes. The doors locked. The windows fogging slightly. My baby was asleep in his seat behind me. And I stared at that ultrasound like it was a confession, a death certificate, a prophecy. I scrolled. There were more. Pictures of her belly, her and Owen together, smiling in what looked like my backyard. A blurry mirror selfie in one of my hoodies, one I'd been looking for since January. Then came the texts. Screenshots of messages. I can't wait until she calms down. Maybe after the baptism, we figure things out. I still think about your belly every time I see hers. It wasn't supposed to be this complicated, but she'll be fine, she always bounces back. A she. That's who I had become. Not Olivia. Not his wife. Not the mother of his son. Just she. I didn't scream, or throw the phone, or call him. I sat there. And I planned. Because the part of me that had cried in the nursery, she was gone. The woman left behind was colder, sharper, quieter. I drove to her apartment. Gently left the phone in a gift bag from Trader Joe's. Tied it with a ribbon. Attached a sticky note, "You left this, and a little too much behind." No signature. She texted me later that night. "Thanks for returning my phone. Sorry for the mess in your car, lol." I didn't answer. Owen came home around midnight. Said he was out with coworkers. I said nothing. Just smiled. Then asked what flavor cake he wanted for the baptism picnic. He blinked. "You're not canceling it." "Of course not," I said. "And you're okay with Hannah still being godmother?" "Why wouldn't I be?" He looked relieved. I kissed him on the cheek, took our baby upstairs, and sang him a lullaby in a voice that didn't feel like mine. Because here, what Owen didn't know. I wasn't planning a baptism anymore. I was planning a reckoning. And the invitation list was about to get a hell of a lot longer. I wish I could say I had doubts. That I almost backed out. That I sat up the night before, holding my son, crying into his baby hair and whispering, "We don't have to do this, Mommy's okay." But no, there were no doubts. There was only clarity. Cold, surgical, sparkling like polished glass. For 2 weeks, I planned the Godmother baptism picnic like a debutante gala. I booked a private corner of the lakeside botanical gardens. There, be champagne punch, artisan cupcakes, linen table runners, and custom name cards. I even ordered pastel party favors that said "Blessed Beyond Measure" in pink foil. The cake, triple-tiered, floral, ridiculous. Top layer said, "Welcome to the family." Bottom layer, "P.S. She's pregnant." Owen didn't ask questions. Hannah did, of course she did. "What should I wear? Should we coordinate? Do you want me to make a toast? Can I bring a photographer friend, just for candids?" I told her yes to everything. She arrived early. In white. Lace. Pregnancy bump outlined proudly beneath a silk wrap dress. She wore a flower crown, a literal flower crown, like she was trying to out-Virgin Mary the Virgin Mary. She kissed my baby on the mouth again. I didn't flinch. I was saving that for later. The guests trickled in: my family, his family, co-workers, church people, and a few PTA moms who came mostly for the résé. Everyone kept saying how amazing it was that I had such a close bond with the godmother. One of Owen's aunts actually pulled me aside and said, "It's beautiful, really. Most women would be jealous. But you're so evolved." Oh, honey. You have no idea. I had set the tables so that Hannah and Owen sat across from me and my son. Every floral centerpiece had tiny folded cards with quotes about truth. I gave a speech first. "Thank you all for being here to celebrate our son. This day is about love, commitment, and the incredible people who will guide him through life." People nodded, teared up. Owen squeezed Hannah's hand under the table. I saw it. Then I smiled. And since this day is all about truth, I thought we'd share a few heartfelt messages sent between our baby's godmother and father, just to show the depth of their bond. You could hear a wine glass clink somewhere in the distance. I pulled a folded sheet of paper from my handbag. Owen's face went still. Hannah blinked like she wasn't sure what language I was about to speak. "Let me begin," I said, holding the mic. "July 3rd, 10:11 p.m. I wish I could do both, raise hers and yours, different houses, same heart." Gasps. Owen stood up. "Olivia, enough." "July 9th, I continued, not looking at him. "It wasn't supposed to be this complicated, but she'll be fine. She always bounces back." Now came the ultrasound. I handed it to Jenna, who stood behind me like my personal justice maid of honor. She walked it over to the string quartet, who stopped playing Clair de Lune to tape it to the music stand like it was sheet music. Projected behind them on a collapsible screen. The matching digital copy. Patient Hannah Keller, partner Owen Landry, baby female, estimated due date May 17. Someone dropped a plate. Hannah tried to stand up, but her chair caught on the tablecloth, tipping a glass of lemonade onto her white dress. Owen muttered something under his breath and made a move toward me, but Jenna blocked him. My mom looked ready to pass out. Then I turned back to the guests. I didn't find out through gossip or accident. I found out through her phone, left in my car. Her story wasn't about loss, it was about timing, and she timed it well. I looked straight at Hannah. You wanted a moment, a healing experience, you wanted family? Well, welcome to it, say cheese. A photographer I'd hired, a friend of Jenna's, not Hannah's, snapped a photo at the perfect moment. Hannah standing, soaking wet, mascara starting to slip, Owen halfway between fight and flight, and me holding our baby like the final act of a Greek tragedy. Someone filmed it. Obviously. I didn't even know who. But by that evening, the clip was on TikTok. Captioned, "Baptism or baby reveal, Godmother gone wild." The next day, I woke up to 27 missed calls, 3 news outlets requesting interviews, and a gift basket from an anonymous sender that said, "For the most iconic mic drop of the year." Inside, a gold-painted pacifier and a single frosted cupcake. I ate it for breakfast, still in my robe, with no bra, holding my baby in one arm and my phone in the other. Because if you're going to burn a man's double life to the ground, you might as well toast a little marshmallow on the way. I didn't leave the house for 4 days. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I felt guilty. Because I was tired. Not the regular mom kind of tired. I haven't slept in 72 hours because this tiny human has decided to. 47 a.m. is party time, tired. No. This was the kind of tired that lived in your bones, in your soul, the kind of tired you feel after holding your breath for weeks and finally exhaling through a fireball. Everyone was talking about it. The video hit 5 million views by day 3. Twitter renamed me Saint Olivia. Reddit called me Postpartum Persephone. A verified blue-check author on Instagram wrote a whole think piece called Motherhood, Betrayal, and the Rage We Aren't Allowed to Show. Someone painted my face as a mural in Brooklyn. Seriously. Meanwhile, I was crying over expired breast milk I forgot in the fridge. Owen moved out. Not because I told him to. Because the internet did. His boss asked him to take some time. His friends ghosted him. His inbox leaked, DMs, emails, notes to Hannah. The memes were merciless. When you pick the godmother, but she's already got a due date. Next time just pick Jesus. He texted me once. Just once. I never wanted it to go like this. I didn't respond. Mostly because I didn't have the words. Partly because I didn't care what he wanted anymore. Hannah went silent too. Her baby bump vanished from Instagram. Her curated life of acai bowls and crystal altars turned to dust overnight. She deleted TikTok. Someone found her Venmo. It was filled with baby gear charges from the past few months, all tagged and blessed. All of it. Gone. And me. I was still here. In my house. In my sweatpants. In the rocking chair that creaked a little louder now. I fed my baby. Watched Great British Bake Off on mute. Ate cereal out of the box while scrolling through my own comments section. The top comment. She didn't just clap back, she orchestrated a full symphony of vengeance. Second top. Owen's face when she pulled out the ultrasound was better than 90% of TV this year. Third. I want to be her when I find out my man's cheating, or when I grow up, whichever comes first. People loved me. Strangers mostly. They called me strong, brave, the blueprint. But at 2 a.m., alone in bed, holding my son while the baby monitor glowed beside me. None of it felt like power. It felt like ache. I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted answers. I wanted to know how a man could share a home, a child, a life with you, and still give his softest parts to someone else. I wanted to know if Hannah ever felt guilty. I wanted to know if I missed the signs, or if they were never mine to see. Jenna came over with soup. She didn't ask questions. Just held the baby, handed me Tylenol, and wiped down my counters while muttering, "Men are feral." I laughed so hard I cried. Then cried because I laughed. "Do you think I went too far?" I whispered. Jenna looked at me, really looked at me. "No, you just made it cinematic." I shook my head. "It's not a movie, Jen, it's my life." "Yeah," she said, "but you made sure you weren't the background character in it anymore." That hit me. Because she was right. For so long, I just adapted. To his moods, his pace, his gaslighting disguised as concern, his passive cheating disguised as friendship. But now he was the footnote. The plot twist. The man people would Google in 5 years and say, "Oh, that Owen." And me. I was the headline. Not the hero. Not the villain. Just the voice. The woman who didn't stay quiet. Who didn't forgive fast. Who didn't smile politely and move on. I didn't move on. I moved through. Through the mess. The chaos. The deeply uncomfortable fact that I still, somewhere deep inside me, loved the version of him that used to sing our baby to sleep. But I also loved me more. More than his redemption arc. More than her fake sorrow. More than the version of motherhood that said, "Keep it together for the child." I wasn't holding it together anymore. I was holding him. My son. My reason. And he didn't need a perfect mom. He needed a real one. Sometimes I still get tagged in the video. It floats back to the surface every couple of months, like a ghost ship. Someone reposts it with a new caption, or adds dramatic piano music, or does a reaction video where they yell, "Yes, Queen," at my ultrasound mic drop. Other times, people recognize me in real life. At Trader Joe's. At the post office. Once at the pediatrician's office, another mom leaned over and whispered, "Was it real? The video." I smiled, as Reela spit up at 3 a.m. She looked at me like I was sacred, like I'd survived something nuclear and come out glowing. I didn't feel glowing. I felt honest. Which is a different kind of beautiful. Owen never apologized properly. Oh, he said the words. In a voicemail that sounded like it was written by ChatGPT and edited by a lawyer. Something like, "I'm sorry for how things unfolded. I never intended to hurt anyone. I wish we could have handled things privately." Yeah. I'm sure you do. He never asked for custody. Maybe he knew he didn't have a case. Maybe he was too ashamed. Or maybe, most likely, he was relieved to just start over. New baby, new mom, new story to tell. I heard through the grapevine that Hannah had a girl, named her Ophelia. Of course she did. She posted a soft launch months later. A single photo. Just baby toes, a ceramic mug, and the caption, "Rebirth." No tags. No location. No Owen. I think he became the ghost in her story too. As for me, I started writing. Not revenge essays. Not feminist essays. Not even mom blogs. Just stories. Little scenes from my life. Letters to my son he can read when he's older. Letters that don't say, "Your dad was a monster," but say, "Your mom refused to be a silent one." I took a break from social media. Not because I was afraid of the comments. Because I wanted my life to be mine again. I made space. Literally. I rearranged the nursery, painted over the beige walls with a soft, wild blue, took down the framed photo of Hannah and my son, replaced it with a watercolor of a mountain. A reminder still, solid, whole. Jenna threw me a rebirthday party in August. She made a cake shaped like a microphone. Wrote Saint Olivia in buttercream. We laughed so hard I nearly dropped the baby. For the first time in months, I felt my lungs fill all the way up. Like I wasn't holding back anything. Not rage. Not grief. Not fear of judgment. Just breath. I don't tell people how to handle betrayal. There's no rulebook. Some women scream. Some leave quietly. Some forgive. Some burn it all down and plant a garden in the ashes. I did a little of each. And I'm still here. Still rocking my baby. Still folding tiny socks. Still drinking cold coffee at noon. But now, I see everything. I see the red flags I brushed aside. I see the way Owen dismissed my voice. I see the way I betrayed myself by thinking his loyalty was my responsibility. I see how Hannah needed something I had and took it without asking. And I see the version of me that emerged after the worst thing. Not a warrior. Not a saint. Just a woman who doesn't flinch anymore. And when my son asks one day, because he will, I'll tell him the truth. That I loved his father. That I trusted him. That I believed in fairy tales for a little while. And that when the curtain fell, I didn't beg for an encore. I wrote a new script. One where the godmother never shows up again. Where the villain loses the mic. And where the heroine doesn't need a rescue. She just needs a damn nap. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.